Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloria. If this is your first time of coming across my channel, I want to say thank you and welcome to the channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So I'm making this beautiful dress with this pleats on the shoulder. Let's get straight into this tutorial. So on the table I had already gotten this nice fabric, a crepe fabric. It is very stretchy and it is thick as well. So here are just my tools for the pattern. So let's just get straight. As usual, I came down 1 inch from the shoulder. That's from the pattern paper. I came down by 1 inch and I'm just going to roll it across like so. So for this pattern, for this dress, I'm not going to like make a full body pattern because we only need from the under bust down. So I'm just going to mark her bust line. So I'm going to mark her bust line and I'm going to roll it down like so. So I'm going to also mark her back with measurement divided by 2. Her back is 15, divided by 2 is 7.5. I'm just going to roll it across like so. So I'm going to impute our bust measurement divided by 4, which is 35 inches. Her bust is 35 divided by 4. So I marked it right there. And then this is just, for beginners. This is just for beginners. I'm just trying to create the dress pattern from like a normal bodice pattern. So I skipped the armhole part because we won't really be needing it. So I just went ahead to mark her under bust line. I mark her under bust line of 13 inches and I am going to mark her waistline. Her waist is 16 inches. And I'm going to roll it across. I also went down by 7.5 inches for her hip line. So I'm going to roll it across, and I just used the full pattern paper for the gown. The gown has like gathers below, so I'm just going to use the full pattern paper as a guide. Right, so I'm going to impute our waist measurement. Our waist and under bust is the same. I impute our hip divided by 4. I'm going to roll it together with a French curve. So I'm just going to mark whatever I got on the hip line. I'm going to mark it on the full length. That's the full length of the pattern. I'm not going to roll it down like so. So I'm just going to blend this sharp edge. So I'm stopping like at the under bust because that's where we need from the other bust. So I'm just going to use the other parts of the back, the other parts of the pattern to draft the back of the outfit because I'm trying to manage it. So I realized that I just wanted to like mark the bust line and bust point line. So you understand the lines. That's the bust point, the under bust, the waist and the hip line. So remember that our half length for front and back, our half length for front and back are not the same. So that's why I needed the bust point to eliminate the excess. So I'm just going to mark 1 inch seam allowance by the side. So I'm just going to blend them out like so. So after adding the allowance, as seen, I'm going to mark the the side darts rather. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch below the bust point, and I also mark the bust span divided by 2 plus 1 inch. So and I'm going to roll it like so, and then I'll just shade it to show that it's going to be eliminated. So we are done basically for the front. We are done with the front pattern, and I'm just going to cut it out like so. You see that we don't even need armhole for this tutorial at all. We don't need it for the pattern at all. So for the back, I already come down by 1 inch from the pattern paper, and I'm just going to mark her bust line, waistline. So I'm going to roll it across just like that, and I also marked the under bust line, under bust measurement. I also marked it at the back because remember that we want it to align with the front, right? So we need the under bust measurements. We need the under bust length, which is 13 inches. That is what I marked there, and I labeled it UBL, which is the under bust line. So I'm going to also mark her hip line, and I'll roll it across like so. So I'm going to input her all her measurements. So I just added her back width divided by 2, and I measured her bust measurement divided by 4, and I also did the shoulder slant, which is not even necessary, but I'm just doing this for beginners to understand, right? So from the waist along the zip area, I measured 0.75 on the waistline, and I'm also going to roll it up and down like so to eliminate that excess at the back, right? So, and I measured our waist divided by 4. I marked it right there, and I also marked her hip divided by 4, and I'm just going to connect those lines, the bust, waist and hip together. So whatever I got on the hip, I'm going to mark it on the length of the pattern like so, and I'm just going to use a straight ruler to connect the dots together. So we are actually done for the back. I'm just adding the 1 inch side allowance, the side seam allowance that I added on the front as well. I'm just going to add it to the back. So, and then I'll set this aside. So for the front, I'm just going to cut out the under bust. So I just realized that even the side that I did was not necessary because we are not using from the under bust line upward, right? So I just had to cut it out from the under bust, and I went up by 12 inches from the length because I checked length you need is 45 inches. So I just went up. So I wanted the pleats, that's the gathers below the dress, to start from this point that I measured. So I went up by 12 inches, so which is basically like 10 inches after the hip line. I think that's what I used. So I'm just going to cut out the back as well, and I'm going to cut out the under bust, from the under bust to just the same thing I did for the front, and I'm going to cut out that slant I did at the zip side. So, and I'm going to mark the same thing that I marked away from the hem of the pattern. So I'm just going to mark it, and I'll cut it out. So these are the two major, I'm going to set all the pieces aside. So these are the two major parts that we need on our pattern paper for the front and back. So now to the fabric, I'm just going to place it, the front on the fabric, and pin it down, and I'm going to cut it out. So I added 0.5 inches by the under bust above the paper on the pattern. So I'm also going to add 0.5 inch below. So I'll also do the same thing for the back pattern, and I'm going to add 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So I'm going to add half inch at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to cut it out. Please don't forget to like and share this video. Please turn on your post notifications so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you. So after cutting the back like that, we'll set it aside and then go ahead to draft the main center of this dress, which is the pleat. So how I calculated this was I use a shoulder, a sleeve measurement. That's from the shoulder, the tip of the shoulder, right, to where you want our sleeve to be. The person's measuring, you measure from the neck down to where you want the sleeve to be all together, right? So the sleeve length is 13 inches, right? I'm going to divide it by 2 because we are 2.5 because we are pleating it. I'm going to times it rather by 2.5, guys. Note, I'm going to times it by 2.5, right? So we gave her 32.5. That's the wideness of what I need. That's the width from the shoulder to the sleeve. That's how full I want it to be. So, and then the length we'll be needing is our underbust length, right? So realize that the back did not overlap like the front, but I'm going to be using the same measurements because I don't want one part to be fuller than the other. So I'm going to use the same 32.5 inches. The front is overlap while the back is not, but I still use the same width anyways. So I'm going to mark the 32.5 and I'm going to add 1 inch allowance that I'll use to fold it by the side. So I'm going to add it here. I added 2 inches extra for the fold at the neck and the hand, and I'm going to cut it out. Remember, the length you'll be needing is 13 inches, which is the underbust length, right? So I just added extra 1.5 inches for the joining at the shoulder and at the underbust, right? Which makes it 14.5. So I'm just marking 14.5 like so, and I'm going to roll it up until the 32.5 inches that I use for the width. So yeah, after marking it, I'm just going to cut it out. So after rolling it up until the 32.5, I'm just going to cut it out like so. So we'll be cutting 4 of these. Remember the 2 sides of the sleeve, right? So front and back as well. So we'll be cutting 4 of this thing, this measurements that we just calculated. We're going to be cutting 4 of it. So this is me just placing it to cut the remaining pieces. So I'm going to set it aside and also cut for the back the same thing I did. So I'm going to cut the remaining 2 pieces for the back as well. So after cutting it out, I'm going to go ahead to shape it. If you realize, if you notice the style, the front is like overlap, right? So I'm just going to go in a little bit. I'll slant it, I'll give it a nice curve so that it will still give us the V that we'll be needing. So I gave the front a nice curve, you see, and I'm going to cut facing for it because I want that part that overlap to not like really, I don't want like full, you know when you sew hem of 0.5 or 1 inch, I don't want it. I just want it to have like a smooth seam. So that's why I'm cutting facing for it, just the way it is in the style, the inspiration, the picture. So I'm just going to cut the facing. So I'll set it aside and also cut for the back. So I'm notching the area that I want to be at the top so I won't make mistakes. I also notch the dress, so I'm going to place it on it like so, the facing on it, and I'm going to join it with 0.5. I'm going to fold the edge of that facing, right? So I'm going to pin it together and join it, while I also cut the back facing as well. For the back, instead of curving the neck, I'm just going to slant it straight down because the back is like giving us V, right? So the back is V, if you notice, yeah. So you see the back is V, yeah. So I'm not going to make it straight, I'm also going to slant it. So I'm just going to mark like 2 inches and I'm going to slant it, yeah, just like so, and I'll slant it, I'll cut it out, and I'm also going to cut facing for the back as well. Please just label it back and front. I just label BB so I won't, you know, mistake them for each other. So I also went ahead to cut the facing for the back as well. So I also went ahead to notch the upper part, and I'm going to mark 3.5 for the width of the facing. And I'm going to go ahead to cut it out. So after cutting, I'll also pin it down and I'll go and sew 0.5 inches. I'll sew it down with 1/2 inch, just like so. So I'll sew it and I'll also fold the facing, and I'm going to come back. I already sewn the front and the back, so you see the way the back is, the V shape is already there, and for the front you see how curved, you see the way it's curved, right? So you see the other part. So I went to sew it and I stapled it down with hemming gum, right? So you see the way the overlap is just sitting very beautiful. So yeah, it's already giving a very beautiful overlap there, right? So I'm just going to find the middle like so. I overlapped it and I'm going to find the middle like so. The overlapping shouldn't be more than 1.5, it's fine. So just for me to know where I'm going to start the pleating from, right? So but I'm going to start the shoulder pleating front first, right? I'm going to start the shoulder pleat. So I'm just going to pleat it towards the facing, right? So I went ahead to join all the edges. You know, the edges will serve as a sleeve. So I went ahead to like join it 0.5, and I've given it a good press. So and I also went to sew that overlap. The overlap, I went to sew it down so it won't be moving about, and then I'll pleat it. You see the way I'm pleating it? You see the way I'm pleating? The pleats is they are facing like towards the sleeve side, So I'm just going to pleat it. Remember that what I measured from the neck for this person, please, all these measurements are just for this person that I'm making the dress for. Please use your measurements. So these pleats are the measurements that will measure from the neck to where you want the sleeve to stop. This is what I'm pleating right here, which is 13 inches, right? So I'm just going to cross check. You see we have 12, so I still have 1 more inch, so I'm just going to adjust it again. I reduce the pleat, right? I reduce the pleat, and I also cross checked, and yeah, it's giving the 13 inches here. So I'm good to go. I'm good to go, like so. I'm good to go. I'm going to also pleat. You see we have 13 inches right there. Yeah, so I'm going to also pleat the other side of the sleeve, opposite the direction of this other one, right? So I'm going to pleat it down, and I'm going to cross check the measurement as well. Please, if you do not understand anything, just let me know in the comments. I'm going to explain. So I'm just going to put it opposite the direction of the other side. So I cross check, and I'm good with the front. So I'm going to do the same thing for the back as well, right? The same thing I did for the front. I'm going to place the shoulder part, right? I'm going to start pleating it. I'm going to pleat it up until I get the 13 inches that is required. So you see I have it. I'm just going to stitch it down. I'm going to stitch it down. So yeah, I pin the other side of the back as well, and I pleat it, and I'm just going to stitch it down with a stitch, just a tiny stitch, to hold the pleats down, right? So here is me just showing you how to measure that part of the sleeve in case you don't understand. So just place your tape at the tip of the neck, right, and just measure where you want it to be, right? So wherever you want it to stop, measure there round, right? After measuring it round, that is where you'll be using as the measurement of the sleeve, right? So you won't make it too tight because you know it has pleats, so it will be easy to wear, right? So after sewing it down, so it's now time for the underbust area. So after pinning it down, I'm just going to pleat all this fabric. I'm going to pleat them. Let the pleating of the shoulder and the one below, let it be let it align, right? Let it be on the same. You see the way I just held this from the shoulder to make sure that the pleats align, like you make sure that they are heading towards the same direction, right? So just do your thing, calm down. At this point you need to be patient to be able to do the right thing. You see, I went to check the front because I'm pleating it from the back, and I realized that I was doing it the wrong way. So I went ahead to try to do it the right way before I now pin it down. So from the back, the pleats will be facing the folds, the overlap, right? But from the front it is actually the opposite, right? So you need to cross check all the pleats of the shoulder to be able to follow it. So I'm just going to do all this thing, and I'm going to pin it down. I'm going to just pleat it. At this point you don't need any measurement, just follow the measurement of the underbust you're using, right? So once you pleat it and we are okay with all the pleats. At this point, the pleat was a bit too much, the fabric was a bit much. So our advice, whenever you are trying to times or multiply what you got from the shoulder, from the neck, right, from the tip of the neck on the shoulder to the sleeve length, so you can just times it times 2. I think times 2 will do, because I did times 2.5 and I feel it was way much on the waist, right? So yeah, it was not bad. It was not bad actually. If you want it very full, you can see times it by 2.5, right? But I'm just saying, for it not to stress you, because this person's waist is very small. Waist is 26 and so is her underbust, so it was a bit stressful for me to like pleat all those fabric. So you can see after pleating it's already very beautiful. I'm going to do the same thing for the back as well. So I'm just going to pleat the waist, the underbust. I'm just going to pleat it like so. This, my client's waist is so tiny. Her waist is 26 inches, so I was just trying so hard to, put in all the pleats, especially this back. It was a bit of hassle, but she wanted it full. It was just a bit difficult to pleat everything on it. So I did it. I pleated it and I gave it. I stitched it down and I gave it a nice press. So you see how beautiful it turned out to be after ironing it down. You see how very beautiful it is sitting. Yeah, so at this point I'm loving how full it is. You see the back as well. It's looking very beautiful. I left 1 inch zipper allowance. I didn't pleat it up to the zipper allowance. Please take note of that. So I didn't pleat it up onto the zipper. You see that I left 1 inch zipper allowance at the zip side. So I'm just going to join the side like so. So remember that this is just a straight fabric. There is no shoulder slant and everything, but you'll be needing it right now because so it will not be it will not be dropping too much. So remember the round measurements that I measured on the mannequin earlier. So you'll be needing that measurement. That's your bicep measurement, right? Where your sleeve is stopping, around it, like the round measurement of that point is what you'll be needing. So I'm just going to slant the shoulder right now. Just pinning it down. So after pinning down, I'm going to slant the shoulder. Always work with pin, right? Always work with pin. So we haven't slanted the shoulder, so we need 13 inches, right? For the other bust, I marked 13 inches. Remember I added 14.5 for the shoulder slant. So, and I slanted the shoulder by like 1.5 inches, because this is not a short shoulder. This is like a long from shoulder to sleeve. So, and then I went ahead to mark the width of the sleeve that's round it. So I'm just going to sew the remaining down. So I did it on the other side as well. I came live on 1.5 and I'm going to mark it down. I'll slant it like so. So I'm going to sew it down, then cut out the excess. I'm going to sew it down. I'm going to sew the shoulder down, and I also going to mark the round sleeve like so. And then I'm just going to curve it a little bit, and then I'm going to join it. So after joining it, I'm just going to cut out the excess from the slant I made earlier. So I'm going to cut out all the excess on the shoulder. So after cutting it out, so I turned the shoulder inside so it will look neat and very beautiful and professional. So I just went ahead, so you see the sleeve, how small it is, so please measure your clients around that sleeve. So remember, we're going to be adding gathers to it. I'm just cutting the excess by the side of the sleeve so that it will be easy to iron. So I'm just going to turn it inside out, and then I'm going to measure. I'm going to give it a good press. So this is me just removing the pin that I used to secure it down earlier. So you see how beautiful it is looking. See, and it is so full. So remember, it's not straight at the hem, so I'm just going to slant it. I've given it a good press now, and I'm just going to go ahead to slant it. So I went up by 4.5 inches by the left side, and I'm just going to slant it to the right, just like that, and I cut it out. So for the hem, I'm going to measure what I have there round, and I'm going to mark the fabric. So to get the length of the lower fabric for the gathers, I'm just going to minus what I have there from the length of gown that I'm using. The length of gown is 45. I'm going to remove what I have there on the shoulder, which is about 21, and we have 12. So 12 inches. Okay, the length is 43. I got 21 there and I remove it, so we have 12 left. So whatever I have here, I'm going to cut times 2 of it. That's what I'll use for the width. So this is me just folding it down, and I'm marking 12 inches plus the hemming, that's 13.5. I'm going to cut it out, so I'll go ahead to gather it with my sewing machine. So after gathering it, I'm just going to join it to the down part. So I'm going to join it. I'm going to sew the zipper side, and I'll add the zipper as well. I'll add the matching zipper, and I'll come back to show you. So this is the finished look. You can see how beautiful it is if you watch to this point. So just be rest assured that you are going to make this dress yourself, and please just send me a message if you make this dress. Let me know in the comments. This dress is so beautiful. It turned out very beautiful. You can see the gathers looking very nice. Thank you so much for watching this video up until this point. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share this video to your friends and loved ones. So for the back, before I forget, for the back, I just went ahead to cut a strap to hold the V. You know, it's a V back, and the shoulder is not like firm, so you need to make sure that you secure and hold the neck down. So I just cut pieces of fabric, and I'm just going to add it to the neck. You can see how beautiful it turned out. Thank you so much for always coming back to watch my video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your post notification so you'll be the first to watch my video whenever I post. Thank you for watching. I love you. Bye.